Hi, this is Ann, and today's Sunday, and what I wanted to do is what I talked about in an earlier video, or two earlier videos. I like to talk about Our Lady of Guadalupe, and so, they actually made a short movie on Our Lady of Guadalupe and Saint Juan, and like I said about Saint Bernard, he's way beyond a saint. But I'm gonna go ahead and read some information and about Our Lady of Guadalupe, and of course her apparition to Juan Diego. Juan Diego, the seer of Guadalupe, was recently baptized as an adult convert at the age of 57. Now, a little bit about Juan Diego. His background, he's Native American. I didn't know he was 57. I thought somehow he was younger, but he was 57. When Mary appeared to him in 1531 at Tepeyac Hill near Mexico City, formerly the site of a pagan temple. He was a widower, his wife having died in 1529. On his way to Mass on the 9th of December, now he had to walk quite a ways to get to church, the feast of the Immaculate Conception at the time, he saw an apparition of a beautiful young girl surrounded by light. She told him of her love for the people of Mexico and asked that the local bishop, Juan de Zunaraga, or Zumaraga, I'm praying I'm saying his name right, build a temple or church on that spot. Juan Diego presented himself before the bishop and explained Mary's request. But the result was that he was initially rebuffed by the perplexed bishop, who said he would really need a sign from heaven in order to comply. On her next meeting with Juan Diego, however, the lady promised a sign that would convince the bishop. But when he returned to his village, he found that his uncle, who he lived with, was seriously ill, in fact dying, and in need of the last sacraments. He met Mary again on his way back to Mexico City to fetch a priest, and then she told him he was free to visit the bishop because even now his uncle was well again. Mary then asked Juan Diego to gather some miraculous, out-of-the-season flowers, which he would find at the top of the hill, and carry them in his rough cactus fiber outer garment. And I think it's called a tilma, I believe. And this is right here. Yeah, his tilma, to the bishop. She strictly ordered him not to show the contents of the tilma to anyone on the way. Once there, he began to tell his story while unfolding the tilma, as the bishop and some important guests who happened to be present saw the wonderful image of Our Lady of Guadalupe on it. This, rather than the flowers, was a real sign for Bishop Zumaraga. So basically, he had his tilma on, and he did as our beautiful Blessed Mother asked him to do, is he gather up some flowers, put them in his tilma. He's holding it like this. He got to the bishop, and then he released his tilma down, and he thought the flowers would come down, and instead there's a beautiful image of our most beautiful Blessed Mother. News of the prodigy spread quickly, and the result was that the Aztecs, who had been reluctant to get involved in Christianity as the religion of their conquerors, the Spanish, flocked into the church. The title Guadalupe is probably the phonetic equivalent of the title She Who Breaks, Stamps, or Crushes the Serpent, a perfect image of the way devotion of Mary was able to destroy the vestiges of the The bad thing inspired Aztec religion, which involved human sacrifice. Snake symbolism was very prevalent in this religion. The miraculous image has been preserved in Mexico now for over 4.5 centuries. So the image of our Blessed Mother in the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in New Mexico City, in Mexico. They have the actual image of our Blessed Mother, and she's been there for, and let me look at the date again here, over 4.5 centuries. Although such fiber garments usually disintegrate within 20 years, the image of our beautiful image of our most beautiful Blessed Mother is still there, looking as fresh as the day, Juan Diego wore his tilma. It has defied all attempts to give a natural explanation. Thus, we have full confidence in the history of the accounts of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And you can be sure, I've never been there. My godmother and godfather went to Our Lady of Guadalupe shrine. Millions of people. In fact, I might be wrong, and I gotta double check my facts on this, but I think out of all the shrines to our Blessed Mother, I believe Our Lady of Guadalupe has the largest amount of visitors from all over the world, not just North America and South America, I think from all over the world. And you can see her beautiful image, and she's just gorgeous. And I love the way that she appeared, because she appears, as people say, she appeared as like a Native American princess, and it's just, but it's sort of like, with Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Native Americans turned to Christianity, but also I think it also, I would like to believe, created more of a cohesion between the Native Americans and the Spaniards, which I'm not even sure to this day exactly how well things are. I'm praying that they're good, but I like to think that they would bring some togetherness a bit. And so, and of course, Juan Diego is very, very special. He's right now he's considered blessed. I like to believe he's been made into a saint. I'm praying that he is, because there are certain saints in the Catholic Church where, I'll give you an example, like Father Damien. This was quite a few years back, and I remember I was watching the movie Molokai, and Father Damien, he's the Belgian priest who volunteered to go to Molokai to help, which was at that time, it was a huge influx of Hawaiian and other people, people, different backgrounds, some who were Hawaiian, maybe different backgrounds, and they were put on this island of Molokai, which really was an island. They just basically took boatloads of people and, pretty much dumped them on the island. And sometimes they didn't even do that. Sometimes they just kicked people off the ships, and and a lot of people died even before even making landfall. They died in the ocean. And Father Damien he volunteered. Not only they originally were going to have like a rotation of priests, but Father Damien, he volunteered to stay there year after year after year, helping and trying to take care of and do what he could to help the people of Molokai who suffered from leprosy. Because at that time they didn't, back then it was called Hansen's disease, leprosy. They didn't have a cure for leprosy. They didn't have, certain, I believe, vaccinations, ways to help. they had very little to they were doing what they could, but there was, technology or just the stuff wasn't there. So, and then at a young age, I think he was probably in his 30s or 40s, he contracted leprosy himself. And even though he contracted leprosy himself, I think there was something about Father Damien where they mentioned that it didn't show so much on the outside of himself. It was like only, like, he was crippled up, but he was like, somehow it was his extremities, or there was something, different. And of course, he was praying to get, nuns to come and other people to come and help. And, but he stayed there to the day he went to heaven. And in the movie Molokai, they have quite a few good actors in there, and Peter O'Toole's in there, and he's like one of the greats. And he, you see him, putting shingles on these houses. He's trying to make things nice for everybody, and he can barely walk. I mean, he's ate up by leprosy and everything, but I think what gets to me, this was around the turn of the century, and it took, I remember talking to, my husband and my daughter, saying, boy, before anything happens to me, I would love to see him, because I know they go through 3 stages where, they recognize the person, and then the second one is they become blessed, and then after, I think it has to be like 2 miracles, that they can verify, and then they become a saint. And by this time, this is well over, this is like 100 years have passed, and it's like, when you watch the movie or you read about, Father Damien, you already know, he's a saint. So it was like, I was saying to myself, why, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't no more than, a couple of years after that, he became blessed. And then after that, pretty close after that, he became named a saint. But that should have been done way sooner, in my opinion, because it's just a given. Certain people like Mother Teresa. It's just a given. You just know it. They love all our brothers and sisters, and they're giving their all, beyond their all, to try to help, and to love, and to change things, make things nicer. They truly are saints. And beautiful instruments of God. When you see, Mother Teresa, Father Damien, you see truly, when you look at them, you see God. You see our Blessed Mother. There's no doubt. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about Our Lady of Guadalupe. Now, I have some time here where I think I could probably do Our Lady of Fatima as well. There's a picture here, so give me a second. Let me see if I click on her picture, if they will do this for me here. If not, I'm going to go back and see if I can get Our Lady of... what I want to do is I want to talk about Our Lady of Fatima as well. So, give me 1 second. I want to type this in. This particular tablet really loves me. You'll type in the letters, and they will give you completely different letters. And so if I'm going slow, it's because it's the only way to get around this. It loves to play with me a little bit. Let me see if I can get this here. And let's see here. Let me give me 1 second, and I want to find And also, too, I wanted to mention, as far as Our Lady of Fatima, this is the 100th anniversary of the apparitions of our Holy Mother in Fatima, which I did not know. I didn't. And at the beginning of the year, we were, I like to, I would say a majority of our statues that we have come from eBay. eBay's great. I'll tell you, I love eBay. And we have found a lot of really beautiful statues on eBay, whether it's a bid or non-bid. And what happened was I saw a beautiful statue of Our Lady of Fatima, and of course, the taller the statue, the more money. I'm not trying to, you can't put a price on the statues, but I'm just saying, the taller the statue, the more pricier. And they had a statue of Our Lady of Fatima in this kind of, and I mentioned this before in a previous video. She was, usually Our Lady of Fatima is in white with like gold trim. And she, this particular Our Lady of Fatima, she was, from the picture that I saw, she was like in this beautiful iridescent blue. And I thought, I've never seen, a statue of Our Lady of Fatima in kind of an iridescent blue, all blue through. And she's about 2.5 feet, almost 3 feet tall. And the price was really great. And she was in California. And I want to thank Jesus in Heaven, our Blessed Mother, and I also want to thank my daughter, my husband, for allowing me to purchase this beautiful statue of Our Lady of Fatima. We got Our Lady of Fatima. I was very excited. We put her on the altar next to our big Jesus. And then it was after that, I forgot how long it was after that, all of a sudden I found out it was the 100th anniversary of Our Lady of Fatima. I honestly did not know it at the time we purchased Our Lady of Fatima, because the other Fatima statues we have were about maybe this big, and some were like, we have another one about this big. And so I was really, really pumped. I was really, really excited. And so I just wanted to tell you more about Our Lady of Fatima. But I'm trying to find an article that is not super long. And this one here, let me see here. Let me see how long this article, because I am trying to find one that's okay, this one seems a little bit, let me go back here and check this one here. Okay, yeah, this one looks pretty good here. Okay, so here's the story of Our Lady of Fatima. And let me take a drink here real quick, in case you're wondering. My husband Jack, he was nice enough to get us. We cheated today. We didn't cook lunch, and my husband was nice enough to pick up some fried chicken at Kentucky Fried Chicken. So you see this cup, and it looks familiar. It's some sweet tea. I shouldn't be drinking too much of it. I don't take too much caffeine, but they make some great chicken, and their sweet tea is really great. But I'm not here to advertise food. I just want to give, if I can, a shout out to Kentucky Fried Chicken there. They have their $5 fill-up boxes, and those are really good deals. But anyway, let me read you the story of Fatima. It's, later on, I'd like to read more in depth, but just for today, I'm going to cover here really fast. The Blessed Virgin Mary, the Mother of God, appeared 6 times to 3 children, 3 shepherd children, the 3 seers, near the town of Fatima, Portugal, between May 13th and October 13th, 1917. Appearing to the children, the Blessed Virgin told them that she had been sent by God with a message for every man, woman, and child living in our century. Okay, coming at a time when civilization was torn asunder by war and bloody violence, she promised that heaven would grant peace to all the world if her requests for prayer, reparation, and consecration were heard and obeyed. If my requests are granted, there will be peace. Our Lady of Fatima explained to the children that war is a punishment for sin, and warned that God would further castigate the world for its disobedience to his will by the means of war, hunger, and the persecution of the Church, the Holy Father, and the Catholic faithful. And really, if you look at it, it's the whole world. God's mother prophesies that Russia would be God's chosen instrument of chastisement, spreading the errors of atheism and materialism across the earth, fomenting wars, annihilating nations, and persecuting the faithful everywhere. If my requests are not granted, Russia will spread its errors throughout the world, raising up wars and persecution against the Church. The good will be martyred, the Holy Father will suffer much, and various nations will be annihilated. So our Blessed Mother is always, when she appears to us, she comes here in a most loving way, because she's doing everything she can to protect us and give us ways to, do things better, so that, what I'm saying, it's like our Blessed Mother, she, how do they say, she holds back, they mentioned that she holds back the hand of her Son, which is, we can understand why Jesus not in heaven would be upset, because, Jesus not in heaven are all of us. And, and so when we hurt one another and things don't go the way they should, it's like, naturally, it's understandable. It's like a parent, when you want your child to be at their best and doing their best, and you love them so much, but sometimes you have to say, hey, I'm going to take that toy away from you until you get things straight, because I really do care about you, because in the future I want your path to be a good path, a happy path, not where you keep making these mistakes, or you put your hand, let's say you put your hand, you have a gas range, and a little child sticks their hand in the fire and they can get hurt. God doesn't want that happening to us, and our Blessed Mother is doing everything. She appears to us and saying, hey, look, if you do this, this way, it's like, God won't be, as upset. You be happy with us, and she's doing everything. She's our most beautiful mother. She's doing everything to make things nice for us and love us and help us, and I'm saying, trying to keep us going towards Jesus known heaven. I'm saying, she's like, she's saying, hey, come to me. She's our most beautiful mom, but she always, like, when she holds us, she leads us to Jesus, her Son, and on heaven. And I can't thank her enough. I love her so much. I love her so very much. And so anyway, here we are. Our Lady of Fatima explained to the children that war, okay, I've read that part, okay. In all her appearances at Fatima, the Blessed Mother repeatedly emphasized the necessity of praying the rosary daily, of wearing the brown scapular of Mount Carmel, and performing acts of reparation and sacrifice to prevent the terrible chastisement at the hands of Russia, and to convert that poor nation. Our Lady requested the solemn public consecration of Russia to her most beautiful Immaculate Heart by the Pope and all the Catholic bishops of the world. She also asked that the faithful practice a new devotion of reparation on the first Saturday of 5 consecutive months, called the first five Saturdays, which means you go to confession and you go to Mass, and we say special prayers in honor to, in love and in honoring our Blessed Mother. And of course, when you, our Blessed Mother, I think this is what I think, one thing that's, our Blessed Mother, she is the Mother of God. She is our mother. But what she does is she grabs her hand, lovingly holds her hand, and she leads our hand to Jesus, and on heaven. And because, what I'm saying, she really, really, truly wants the best for us. The heart of Our Lady's message to the world is contained in what has come to be called the secret, in which she confided to the 3 children seers in July of 1917. The secret actually consists of 3 parts, the first of 2 which have been publicly revealed. So there are 3 secrets that she revealed to the 3 children of Fatima. 2 have been publicly revealed. The first part of the secret was a horrifying vision of hell, where the souls of the poor sinners go, and contained an urgent plea from Our Lady for acts of prayer and sacrifice to save souls. The second part of the secret specifically prophesied the outbreak of World War II and contained the Mother of God's solemn request for the consecration of Russia as a condition for world peace. It also predicted the inevitable triumph of her Immaculate Heart following Russia's consecration and the conversion of that poor nation to the Catholic faith. The last part of the secret, often called the third secret, has yet to be made public, but was written down by Lucy dos Santos, the last living Fatima seer, in 1944, and has been in the possession of the Holy See since 1957. Most informed sources speculate that this portion of the secret contains chaos in the Catholic Church, predicting widespread apostasy and the loss of faith beginning in the 7th decade of the 20th century. So, there's, I know the third secret was supposed to be revealed, I believe, in 1960, somewhere around there. From what I understand, I've read some, you can read more, you can also see more on YouTube as well, where I think it was the Pope or someone opened up the third secret, and they said it was not real good, and then they decided not to reveal it, because they didn't want people to get upset or panic. And so, and I've heard some people say, oh, this is the third secret, but as of right now, from what I'm reading here, it has not been revealed as of yet, unless, I have to look at more articles, but some people say it has been revealed. This article says it hasn't, so I'm going to leave it at that. And, but, really what our Blessed Mother is saying, hey, we need to pray more, and this world, this is what we, really when it comes down to is like, as long as we, Jesus let me know, as long as we, we're honest with ourselves, we try to be as, say, how do you say, we try to be truthful with ourselves, about ourselves, be truthful to other people, not to tell lies, to try to be as truthful as possible, to love everybody, to love, Jesus now in heaven, super big time, and if you can, try to help other people, help our brothers and sisters. Then if Jesus let me know, it's like if you're going that route, if you do these things, that you're pretty much going the right, you're going the right direction. Because if you look at the New Testament, if you look at the whole New Testament, Jesus really summed it up. He says the 2 most important commandments is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, might, everything you have, and to love your brothers and sisters as you love yourself. And those, he says, are the two most important commandments. And that is so true, because when you do that, you cover the Ten Commandments. You cover, everything that Jesus, a beautiful Father in heaven, or a beautiful Holy Spirit, a beautiful Blessed Mother, a beautiful Papa Joseph, in heaven. It covers everything that they say, including when you look at the apostles, the Acts of the Apostles, as you go through the New Testament onto Revelation. And then when you look at Revelation, when Jesus and all heaven come back, and I'm praying and begging that happens very soon. When you look at how people are going to be judged, Jesus, he makes it very clear. He says, for those, for those who loved and helped the least of my brothers, help me, and because Jesus isn't everyone. God isn't everyone, and so whenever you help the least of your brothers, you've helped God, because God isn't everyone. Whether you're poor, you're middle class, you're rich, whatever station in life you're in, God isn't everyone. I mean, you look in a person's eyes, and you see God in them. God isn't everyone. God, God is in all living things. I mean, animals, the tree. I mean, God is everywhere. When you think of everything that's beautiful, and you look at this earth. Like this morning, I got up somewhat early, and we sat on the porch, and we were trying to enjoy the weather before it gets hot today. It's supposed to get really hot. And this world is so beautiful. I mean, God's made such a beautiful world. It's incredible. And you think of all the beautiful places and, all the beautiful people and just everything. And just, so when you think about how much we've been given, everything we have, from just our body, our souls, everything we have, from, this beautiful world that we're allowed to live in, the animals, the houses, all the material goods that we've been given, even money. Everything's been given to us. Everything's been given to us by Jesus now in heaven. Everything's been given to us by God, and I include our Blessed Mother, and Papa Joseph, and it's like I put everybody together, and because and so when you think about it, it's like, a lot of times that people say, well, I did this, or I have this, or I'm saying, but really we're all children of God, and we're all instruments of God. But truly, whenever you see something good, that's of God. When it's something bad, and when I do bad stuff, I know that's me doing the bad stuff or the bad thing, whatever. But it's me. It's my fault, And I cannot sit there and blame anybody. If I sin, I can't blame anybody else. It's my fault, and I'm not, happy about it. I feel bad about it when I do. And it. I mean, you know when you do good, and you know when you're not doing good, and so. But anyway, I'm sitting there going off, in another area here. But I wanted to read about Our Lady of Guadalupe. Originally, I was going to do a separate video for each. We were going to do a separate video for. I could say we, because it's true, because it's Jesus now in heaven, and of course, my beautiful daughter, and like I told you, I can't do. Like I says, I'm a face and a mouth, and I can do the camera a little bit, but my daughter, she does everything. She does, and I'm very, very grateful. One thing I did want to talk about. I wanted to show you. It's a baby version of Our Lady Guadalupe, but it's just there's a little statue of Our Lady Guadalupe. It's a baby version. She looks so beautiful, so cute. She looks so cute. I love her. And then of course, one thing I was going to mention too, if like I mentioned, eBay is a great place to get religious items, Amazon too. Amazon's got a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of great places on the internet, and of course there's stores around you too. And but one thing I mentioned, I'm gonna do a kind of a, I guess what people call it a shout out, I guess. Um, but it's this company called Autumn, and it's spelled Autom. And years ago, we went to church, and we were going to mass, and my husband went towards the back, and they have like pamphlets and everything, and he found a catalog book, and the catalog book had everything. I mean, it was a thick book about this big, and they sold everything from rosaries to scapulars, which our Blessed Mother was talking about, you know, wearing the scapular. Later on, I was at an angle where you couldn't really see the scapular too well, but later on I'm going to show you our beautiful Blessed Mother scapular, which you should try to wear every day. I wear mine all the time. And but they sell statues, pictures, Bibles, religious books. I mean, everything you can think of under the sun, Autumn sells. And so we took the catalog home, and then throughout the years we've ordered, you know, quite a few things from Autumn. And then, of course, they're also online too. And then one day, my beautiful daughter Rose, she came up to me and said, "Mom, did you know on Mondays they have what they call, it's like a bargain Monday? There's a different name, a different term, but it's like a bargain Monday." And she was showing me on her tablet, you know, on every Monday they have a special deal on some of their religious items. And I was blown away at some of the prices, because a lot of this stuff you can buy separately, and then some stuff, they sell a lot of stuff by bulk, which is great if you're in, you know, for catechism or for your Sunday school, large groups of people, church. So the thing is, we've bought some, what we usually do, we buy things in bulk, we'll keep a few for ourselves, and then we donate the rest to the church. Excuse me. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that to you. And so I wanted to show you one of the items. Now this was a while back, and this is Our Lady Guadalupe. And I know it's kind of hard for you to see, but this is glass. It's red glass, and my daughter was able to buy. I think there's 12. I think there's 12 candles. These are candles here. And these candles, they last a long time. I mean, I think if I was to burn one of these candles continuously, this candle would probably last at least 4 days, maybe more. And these, you have the image of our beautiful Lady Guadalupe, so she kind of stands out there, and the beautiful red color, made out of glass. I mean, we're not, you know, it's really nice. And I believe she got a whole box of 12 candles. I think it was something like $5 or $7 for like 12 candles of this caliber with the glass. You know, this beautiful red kind of it's a beautiful red. And then recently, she showed me the, you know, the Monday bargain Mondays with Autumn, and they have quite a few good items. I mean, sometimes there's so many you just like, oh, I like that, I like that. For me, you put me in a religious gift store, and it's like a candy shop. I kid you not. I'm like a little kid, and I think you guys figured that out already. But anyway, so anyway, we received this in the mail the other day, and there's a this one came in bulk, and we got, these are 5x7 pictures of Jesus, and they're like card material, and we got 100 cards, or 100 pictures of Jesus. Those are 5x7s. I looked at the price this morning, and with I think the cards alone might have been only gosh, I think the cards alone might have, I think for 100 cards, I think it was only about $4.50, but with shipping and handling and everything, I believe it was like $7.99. I think it was like $7 and something cents. That's with shipping and handling. And you can see it's a beautiful picture of Jesus. And what we did is, when we got them, I said, we'll keep a few for ourselves, and then the rest, we're going to take them to church. I'm going to take this beautiful picture of Jesus to church, leave them on the table, and other people can grab one and enjoy them. And, we'd love to do that. We've been doing that lately since, my daughter Rose found the Bargain Mondays, and that is it just makes me really excited, because sometimes religious goods can be a little up there depending on where you go, and then sometimes you can get some really great deals. It just depends on the situation. Another thing that my daughter found, now this was not at Autumn, but this was at the thrift store, and we have a thrift store right down the road from where we live, and they have a great deal where you can get a whole bag of books. They give you like one of those plastic bags or a brown bag, and as long as you can stuff it in the bag, you can get all the books you want for $1. And we walked into the thrift store that day, and she says, Mom, here's a great, study Bible for you. Now see, I have a regular Bible. I've had a bunch of Bibles, which I'm very thankful to have, but I've noticed a lot of people have study Bibles. And she says, Mom, it says in the front, it's called the Catholic Study Bible, and I'll show it to you here. And it's very thick, and it's got like everything's already pre-marked and everything. A lot of times you have to buy the tabs, and the tabs cost you a little extra money. And they just really, it's the entire Bible, but it's a study Bible, and I'm really excited about it. I need to go ahead and sit down and my daughter the other day we went to a store down there in Fayetteville. It's one of those type of days where you get in the car, the weather is nice, and so my daughter and I wanted to have a little lunch, and then we went to go visit this one store that has a lot of stuff, not only for her, but for myself. It's a really great store, it has a little bit of everything. And, I know right now the fidget spinners are really, really big, but then there was this little deal that she showed me. She says, well, Mom, this is popular too, and it's a fidget, what is it?
Fidget cube.
Oh, it's a fidget cube. Thank you, Rose. It's a fidget cube. And I looked at it, I said, what is this? But I know it's for stress relief. And I looked at it, on one hand, you know how they have the kind of the old-fashioned, when you turn the light off and on, the switch. It has that little clicker, and you click on it. And there was something else with it. Not only can you do the little, the clicking like the light thing.
I got like a clacker thing.
It has a clacker, yeah. It's got a clacker. And the only thing is, over there, it was a little bit expensive. I think it was like $6-7.
Actually, it was like $10.
Okay, yeah. Rose said it actually was $10, and I said, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get a little fidgety, but like I told you, I have some anxiety stuff going on with me. So then this morning, she found on one of the sites where she could buy that same fidget cube for like $1 something. So it's on the watch list, it's on the waiting list, and we're really thinking about getting it, because sometimes I'll sit down and I'll kind of jiggle my leg, or do this with my hand, and so I know the fidget spinner is really, really popular. People look at it like it's almost like a toy thing, but for some people, yeah, I think for me, that fidget box. And what happened last night is something came up last night, and we have some nice neighbors in this neighborhood, but there's one neighbor, that this person is a bit friendly towards a member of our family, and it's not, in the way that you would think. It's not like it's kind of like I had a friend years ago who had a similar habit of, she would be friends with certain people, but it was not because she's attracted to that person or anything like that, or she's trying to take that person away from you. It's sort of like, what can this person do for me? It's sort of like, can this person be an advantage to me in the future? I'll be nice. I'll overlook the rest of the family, but I'll be nice to this one person because I think this person might be an advantage to me. So we have one neighbor like that, and so when last night I heard the person's voice as my husband was going out the door to pick up something. I'm not gonna lie to you. My temper I started to get ramped up. I could see, I could tell my temper was going up. I really could have used that fidget box or the fidget cube, because I'm telling you, boy, you start getting like that. And then with me, the biggest problem with me, and I think it doesn't take much, you guys have probably figured it out by now, it's like, I'm a very verbal person. I love to talk. But it's not just that. When I get angry, my mouth is like, my mouth can be good for used. I mean, good for used. I can't believe I said that. My mouth could be used for good, or it could be used for bad. I mean, that's with everyone. We we can say nice things to make uplift a person, or we can say things that can just ruin a person's day. But especially me, I have it's amazing, considering I do have this handicap, where my brain is compromised somewhat. But somehow when I get pretty piped up, it just seems like the thoughts from my brain to my mouth go at like rapid speed. I mean, it goes at really, really fast speed, and things come out of my mouth that even shock my daughter, my husband, other people around. I remember, we had an experience. I think this was last year, and we went to for a while we were going through a phase where, let's go to the movies. And so we were going to the movie theater a little bit more, trying to catch the newest movies. Of course, I like a lot of the kind of the scary movies, like the old Victorian haunted house movies. I love stories. I like true life stories. I like religious movies. I like documentary type things. I like a certain amount of dramas. I'm not big on comedy movies unless it's certain actors. And action movies, I'm so about it. But everybody has their taste, so I respect everybody's taste. So anyway, that day we walked in, and I was, what happened was, it was one of these rare movies. Like, it comes from I believe it was one of those foreign films. I think it was a foreign film. Rose, am I correct? I think it was a foreign film, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it was a foreign film, and it had a limited showing only at certain cinemas. And it showed up as it showed up on the tablet that it was going to be showing at this theater at this certain time. So, excuse me for a minute. I just want to drink something here real quick. I'm sorry for being so rude.
I think it was a movie Dad wanted to see, I think.
Oh, yeah. It might have been a movie that Jack wanted to see. Actually, Rose, you're right. I think it was a movie that...
Yeah, it was a martial arts deal, I thought.
Yeah, it was a martial arts movie. Yeah, Dad wanted to see it. That's right. So we, going from here, it's about a 40-minute drive to get down to that theater. And then we got down there, And, movies aren't cheap. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we've cut back on movies a bit and we just kind of watch more, programming here. Don't get me wrong. If there's a good movie, we'll go out there and see it, but we're just trying to be, we're just trying to keep our budget better. So anyway, we went down there and I went up there and there was a little bit of a line behind us. And so usually I kind of go up to the cashier and I says, I like to have 3 tickets for this particular movie. And the young lady across from me, she seemed like a nice lady. She wore glasses like me. And she kind of looked at me like, it was kind of a look like, what are you talking about? I said, I'd like to get 3 tickets for this movie. And then she says, this movie doesn't exist. There is no movie like this. I said, well, no, there is. I mean, it's, it's under the movie times. It was on the tablet, currently showing at your cinema, blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling her, it's the movie shows up. I mean, it's definitely the date, the same date, the time, everything. And then she says, I'm sorry, ma'am, but, I'm telling you, we don't have the movie here, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, a man comes out there's a little bit of a line forming at this point, and a man comes up, and of course I'm only 5 foot tall, okay? I'm not very tall. And this guy comes up, and I can't remember even if he touched my shoulder. I can't remember. But he says, ma'am, and he raises his voice, and he's very extroverted. I mean, he makes sure that, he's going to make a scene. I mean, you know it. You see it coming. Now, my mind is thinking, where is this movie? Because I know what we saw. My daughter and I verified it. We drove 40 minutes to get to this movie. And so the man comes up and he says, ma'am, he says, look. And I turn around, I look at him. I said, who's this man coming up to me? I'm busy talking with the cashier. And he says, he points to the line. He makes this big dramatic gesture. He says, look. He said, you're making everyone wait here in line like this. You're standing here, and he says, you're making everyone wait. He says, and all of a sudden he was pointing to me as if, well, look at you, you're such a bad person. All I'm trying to do is just trying to get to the bottom of this because, actually the first customer in line, you're there. I'm just trying to get this straightened out. So anyway, I turn around and I just tell him, look, I told him, I says, I can't remember the exact words I said. I pointed my finger at him, which is, I was taught you should never point, and that's a rude thing to do. But anyway, I pointed and I says, look, I'm not done here. I'm still talking with this lady. So he kind of buzzes off for a few minutes. And so at this time, we're kind of going, we're not yelling or screaming. We're just trying to figure out what's going on here. And then, at that point, she's saying, I'm sorry, ma'am, but this movie just doesn't exist. And I'm telling you, what's really weird is on the side, they had the concession stand. And they have like a flip thing that flips that shows the movies. And all of a sudden on one of the flip things, as I'm turning my head, you can see the movie that we're trying to see, but it flips over. So, that was suspicious. So then the man comes up a second time. And I guess this time he figures, I'm going to go ahead and pick on this 5 foot woman. Because he's about 6 feet tall. And he's going to make me an example to the world that I'll show this woman. But everyone in line, the thing I admired about people, everybody in line was just standing there. They're just minding their own business. Didn't seem like anybody was disturbed. They could see I was trying to figure out what was going on. And my voice kind of carries anyway. So he comes up a second time, and he's starting to get more huffy. Now, he doesn't cuss at me or anything like that, but he's still getting more huffy. And then this time, I'm already wired for sound. This is when I needed that clicker box, but I didn't have the clicker box. And of course, back then they didn't have the what do you call those?
It was a fidget cube.
They didn't have the fidget. They didn't have the fidget click cube. They didn't have the fidget clickers. They didn't have none of it. That was last year. Okay, I sure could have used one of them, man. I should have been praying too. Also, get my levels down, my temper levels down. So then at that point, I've lost my temper. And I told him, listen, sir, I was here first. I'm not done with my business. When I'm done with my business, you'll know about it, blah, 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 blah. Naturally, you know, he rolls back into the line. Literally, he rolls back in there. In fact, he might have walked out the door. I'm not sure what happened. You know, when you start seeing red, you can't see anything at all. I mean, you know, but, you know, I was so proud. My daughter, she stood by my side. You know, she knows I'm handicapped. I got my cane. You know, I'm just trying to you know, my legs are getting warbly at this point because I've been standing for a while. So then at that point, we proceed over to the side, and I insist on seeing the manager. And then the manager, first he says, oh yeah. He says, yeah, I heard about that movie. And first he says, well, we were supposed to get the movie, but we didn't get it. It was supposed to come this way, but it didn't. And then as we carry on talking a little bit more and a little bit more, then he finally says, well, actually we did get the movie. We tried to play it, but it wouldn't run. There was something wrong.
Because being a foreign film.
It was a foreign film. It just wasn't. So he finally admitted they actually did have the movie in their possession. They tried to play it, but it didn't run. It didn't play right. The equipment couldn't play it. So he finally admitted to it. And I said, sir, can you do me a favor? The cashier over there. Because at this point, you know, at that point she was looking up at the sky like, boy, this lady here is really something. She's like, you know, she's really something. She's out there nowhere, you know. She's been, you know, well, I wonder what she's been taking. So I said, can you do me a favor? Can you tell the cashier lady there that I'm not out of my mind, that the movie really does exist, and that, you know, and then he does. I admire him. He turns around and he says, no, this woman here is right. This movie was here.